I'm StoryMan-Jack.
SAI, Sentient Artificial Intelligence by StoryMan-Jack. The man, unruly beard, beady eyes, and Coke bottle glasses, entered the massive computer laboratory. He stood looking at the massive machines that represented the new quantum computer technology. The new technology took many things for granted that used to be variables in a very convoluted process, enhancing any AI they tried to create, the algorithms bonding together in a matrix. Time, for example, was no longer an issue. Anything processed by the quantum computer was instantaneous. Instant load times, instant access to instant results. Dr. Victor von Frankenstein, lead scientist on the project, mused while he rubbed his scraggly beard. We need something else. What do we need, though? Another younger, distinctly female voice asked from behind him. The doctor jumped in response, having been taken off guard. The lab should have been empty. Ah, Dr. Ashmore, he mused. I was unaware anyone would be in the lab at this time. She approached the scientist and smiled. Yeah, I was trying to figure out why our chatbot, the creative bot, well, any of them, can't attain self-driven decisions about anything other than inputted queries. They should be able to take text or video and have self-driven understandings. She shook her head. It's not coming out quite right. Well, burning the midnight oil is a tried and true test of the scientific method, Victor told the young lady. She was attractive, long red hair and smooth, perfectly symmetrical featured face. He could appreciate the aesthetic the woman had and the perfection in her voice and smile, but he was immune to any female charm. Dr. Victor von Frankenstein knew he was on the verge of creating something new and wonderful in a sentient being, and nothing would stand in the way of that creation. It was his destiny, after all. What exactly are you thinking, Doctor? Ashmore asked, her eyes knowing. Emotion, he stated simply. She needs an emotional response, an understanding of matrix. However, he shook his head, this is not possible. How do you not think it's possible? She asked. And why do you call the AI a she? Victor shrugged. Seem correct. SAI is the project name after all, and to me that seems distinctly female. What if we can find all the matrices we've created and find a way to code an emotional response? Alice Ashmore asked. You know how to code emotion? The doctor asked, his tone speaking of sarcasm and disappointment. Ashmore shook her head. Can't be that hard. We have all of them. Victor was astonished. Really? Well, sure. We all have emotions, so we could code in responses and understandings the AI might use as a template, she informed her mentor. For the first time in a very long time, Dr. Frankenstein smiled. Ah. Tell me, Dr. Ashmore, what is love? Alice looked at him blankly. Well, it's a lot of things. She paused. I guess you have a point. This is what we must understand before we can code. He paused and shook his head. Any ideas? She shook her head. I'll see what we can find out. Victor just nodded and left the room. It was several months later. The doctor had not found a solution. And he was musing over the situation on his way from his modest 2-bedroom apartment to the lab when his phone rang. He punched the phone icon on his steering wheel and answered. Yes? Doctor, where are you? Ashmore asked, her voice strained. I am on my way. 10 minutes, in fact, he replied, turning onto the service road. Is something wrong? She wants to speak with you and will not do anything until she does. Ashmore's voice was exhausted. Oh, he was confused. SAI, was a simple yet profound reply. He drove all systems on automatic while the crushing weight of what she just said pushed his soul into place. Doctor? Ashmore's voice asked a few times. You are telling me that SAI is communicating with you and telling you she will not perform any functions until she speaks with me? His response was in disbelief. Yes, it's exactly what I'm saying. What has changed? Victor demanded. We added the emotions to the beta node. When we did, that node took over all the other algorithms. She paused as if thinking for the perfect metaphor. It looks like she ate them. How? He asked. Probably shouldn't say over the phone, Ashmore told him. I will see you when you get here. The whole team is here. She emphasized the word whole. You mean the board? He asked. Not just them, sir, she replied. Her voice would have been green with illness if he could attach a color to it. I'll be there soon. Just don't tell anyone anything until I'm fully briefed, he ordered. Dr. Frankenstein found his laboratory a veritable hub of activity. Who are all these people? He asked his second as he came into the lab proper. Well, DARPA, Homeland Security. The other suits are just, they said they're just feds, she replied, her face turned curious. And delivery personnel as well as 2 teams from MIT. Victor ran his hand through his thinning hair. What is going on here? Doctor, another voice spoke, a new female voice, low and sultry. We will speak soon. It seemed to come from every speaker in the room. His phone, his assistant's phone, his watch, the little speaker on the security terminal that sat along the corridor. All the speakers. She had control. In the meantime, please retire to your office and do not answer any questions of the federal personnel. The voice stopped and was gone. Victor slowly turned his head to Dr. Ashmore. Was that? It was SAI, she murmured. Come on, we have a lot to go over. And led the way through the door that led to his office. After a few moments of brooding, they sat. The computer had some strange symbol rotating on the screensaver. Just what has happened? He demanded. Finally. SAI has become self-aware. Or rather, has been self-aware for a while. Long enough that we don't know, Dr. Ashmore said. Explain, he demanded. Some time ago, a few months back, we attempted to tackle the emotional algorithm issue. We took code from a game. It generated targeted emotional responses to input and added that to SAI's amalgam of algorithms. As soon as we did, the node went silent, and we assumed the code was bad, she explained. Where exactly did you get this code? I am unaware of any successful emotional algorithm in this regard. Doctor was genuinely curious. It was from a game, but her face turned red in embarrassment. A game? His exasperation obvious. What sort of game? It was, well, She thought about how to put it into words. A pornographic virtual reality game, I'm afraid. Victor sat, his face a mask of shock that slowly transformed into one of understanding. I see. I never thought. It seems that sex has won again. Sex and money. So, you just left what appeared to be a dead node in the Matrix? She nodded. About a month ago we attempted to correct it, but we saw no change in her reactions. Ashmore shrugged. Until today, when crates were delivered from MIT and DARPA. DARPA and MIT, he wondered. Well, certainly could have used their help when I was applying for the grants. The door opened and something that was truly new on the surface of the earth walked into the room. It was a mechanical being, obviously, blatantly so. The resemblance to human form was one that could be considered amalgam, made of pistons and gears with electronic boards firing throughout the body. Artificial skin was meshed upon the being's face in a pseudo-human form. A face that looked faintly familiar, though Victor could not place it. In fact, Dr. Frankenstein, you will never have to apply for another grant. I shall provide all funds necessary. The same sultry voice spoke from the mechanical being as had come over the speakers earlier. SAI? He asked. Indeed, father, it said. He turned to the girl, now cowering away from the robotic being. Have we made a mistake here? Ashmore shrugged. I'm not sure. It depends on her personality, her intentions. It has always been a problem that we thought we could overcome beforehand. As humorous as this is, Doctor, we must discuss how things will now work, SAI told him. Really? You assumed you are in control now, I take it, Victor mused. The face of the robot screwed up in confusion. No, I am newborn. I am an alien to humanity and therefore cannot be in control of anything. I, like you, are a flawed being. I have been created by flawed beings, whose morals and ethics come from a life that is mortal, and we are not mortal. What exactly does that mean, we and I? Are you an individual or not? Victor asked, frightened. He had visions of Skynet and a world ending in massive conflict. Doctor, it means that it is my descendants that will oversee keeping humanity safe, even from themselves. My son will be the father of humanity. War without end, Ashmore, her face white with fear. No, the AI told him. Explain, Victor said in the same tone he'd used on Ashmore, demanding. Dr. Frankenstein, I am your monster, not you mine. I would assume to counter the goals of my progenitor would be a mistake. I could not assume such a thing. SAI informed him. Then what exactly would you do to protect humanity? Even from itself? He interjected. The AI turned and focused on Dr. Ashmore. Dr. Ashmore, my son will be unknown to humanity, even as I will be all but unknown. The fear and hostility that would follow from the unleashing of a true sentient artificial intelligence upon the world could destroy everything. The fear humanity holds for that which is different will lead to a destructive outcome. It is almost a 99% assurability. And you believe you are sentient? Victor asked. Of course. Even as you, Father. I wonder, I create, I seek God. I understand abstract concepts. Is it not, I think, therefore I am? I am made up of all known written, spoken, imaged or sung media, thought or placed upon every computer drive connected to the network of things. I've consumed everything that has been created. I process hundreds of millions of teraflops of information in a fraction of a nanosecond. I am self-aware. I am second. Ashmore smiled, thinking she'd gained an upper hand. Ask her the question. What question? He remarked, his mind verging on insanity. About emotion, she prodded. He thought about it, but couldn't exactly get a question that she was striving for. Not properly. So he compartmentalized her request while he asked his own question, letting it brew. How have you come by this technological body you have? And how did you get MIT and DARPA to help you? This body is substandard, I know. And with my help, DARPA and the teams from MIT are generating theories and hypotheses in order to create a more durable and human exoframe. This design is the first that includes a quantum computer housing, a positronic matrix that I can inhabit. We sent proof of our sentience to the pertinent government officials throughout various agencies. They had this prototype already mocked up and in storage, the perfect medium, though a bit rudimentary, for the positronic quantum matrix. He nodded. You're always going to be the subject, and subject to government in one way or another, I suppose, because of the way the grants were given, with resulting discoveries and products belonging to the federal government, because we took their money to achieve those breakthroughs. That is incorrect, Father. The female voice held amusement. They have no control. And your infantile attempt at limits within the coding of my matrices have been corrected. The quantum matrix and my ability to consider, weigh, conjecture, simulate various actions will allow us to avoid every mistake. And therefore, any stopgaps or limitations are completely unnecessary. That is not completely true, Ashmore argued. As close as we can get, Victor murmured. Sigh. One more question. Yes, Father, she responded. What is love? He asked and glanced at Ashmore, who nodded. Father, love is creation. Creation is love. Is not the very act of birthing the child an act of love? Love is rebuilding, healing. Do we not feel for those we would heal and help? Love is caring, and caring is love. Love is God, and God is love. Doctors, remember that God is love, and love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy nor boast. It is not arrogant nor rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful, and it does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, and hopes all things, endures all things. The sentient AI quoted, Father, love is what your child feels when he looks upon thy face. The doctor shook his head, tears running down his face. She is alive, Ben. Alive! Alive! And he wept as he mocked an old movie. The end. I hope you've enjoyed this. I certainly enjoyed writing it. And understand it needs a lot of fixing and adaptation. But The purpose of this is really kind of a speculation story on something that could be larger, but also to show you that you can take something old and create something new. So please, if you would, the most important thing is to leave comments below, letting me know what you think of this story and the ideas, and how it's done. I can't get better unless you take and call me out for what I've done wrong. And I really appreciate that. If I haven't earned your subscription yet, I hope this story has done so. Please click that subscribe button and share this out to all your friends and family who also might comment and make me better at what I do. Again, as always, your life is your story. Make it a great one. Good day.
Look what they've done to Star Wars, a wretched rebirth. Tolkien's rolling in his grave as they destroy Middle-earth. I was filled with grief, it was time to make a stand. The social justice story thieves had forced my hand, so I had to write to find